Creating a national brand from the humble meat pie. If you think that's unlikely, you haven't met Wayne Homschek and Betty Fong, co-founders of Pieface. Wayne and Betty first considered the pie-faced concept back in 2003, as they decided to move from the fashion industry to food, and to capture a gap in the market. They recognised that Australians love food, and of course, pies. Yet there was no national brand doing the classic Aussie pie. Hence the birth of Pieface. And to introduce a fun, cheeky, young-at-heart, universal feel to the brand, they started putting faces on their pies, different faces for different flavours, extending the offering to other pastries, muffins, sandwiches, cookies, and to an amazing array of coffees, with funny faces too, all being sold out of small retail stores. But while the Pieface image is cheeky and young at heart, the business is serious. Wayne and Betty invested heavily, putting over $10 million into their business model, including a central kitchen and 19 company-owned stores, before inviting franchisees to join the brand. Wayne Homschek explains the rationale for that, and the Pieface offering to franchisees, with Heather Dawson from Business Essentials.
We decided to build, own, operate the business model for a number of years before we actually offered it out to franchisees, and we did that for a number of reasons. One, we wanted to get the product right. Two, we wanted to get the retail store format right. Three, we wanted to get the supply chain right, and we thought that it was appropriate for us to spend our own money doing that before we asked others to join us. And after 6 years, we're now very confident with what we've got.
Well, could you describe Pieface now as a brand and in terms of growth?
Right now, we've got 18 stores open in Sydney. We've got about 6 or 8 stores under development in both Melbourne and Sydney. We see Sydney as a market of between, say, 100 and 150 stores. We see Australia as a market of circa 500 stores, 300 to 500 stores. And we see this as a global bakery cafe brand. So we see no reason why this format isn't as relevant as a Subway or a Starbucks. And if you follow those chains, there are many, many thousands of stores globally. So, we believe that it's as applicable as any chain out there.
So you've got a huge way to go yet.
Oh yeah, a bit of work to do.
Now, coffee is very important to your offer. Why is that?
We're a bakery cafe chain. We're a micro bakery cafe chain, which means a small format bakery cafe. And by definition, if you're a bakery cafe chain, you need to do coffee well. And so we believe that coffee is core to our success, and we focus on coffee almost as much or as much as we do the pies and the other baked goods. It just makes for a rounded offer. And look, everyone drinks espresso coffee. It's good margin business, and it's complementary to the other products we sell.
And you've actually been quite innovative in that coffee offer too, haven't you?
Yeah, we actually did something no one else, we don't believe in the world's done, and we actually offer strengths of coffee. And so rather than ordering a weak or a strong, or we actually order a kick my ass or a start my heart or a tingle my toes. And so we have 5 levels of strength in our coffee. The first one being decaffeinated, which is still asleep, all the way up to kick my ass, which is a very strong sort of double shot, long pour in a espresso cup. And then you can order whatever type you like. So you order a kick my ass latte or a skim, start my heart skim cappuccino. It just adds another dimension to the ordering. And we want to create a bit of fun and irreverence with that, the same way we do with our faces on our pies.
Well, there's a lot of coffee places out there, Gloria Jean's, McCafe even. So you reckon you can be competitive?
Yeah, and we are competitive. Our percentage of coffee sales in terms of overall sales is growing. In our newer stores, we're over 30% of coffee in our turnover. That's not where Starbucks is, but then again, Starbucks don't really do food like we do. We do food. So I think if you compared McDonald's and McCafe's coffee share to ours, in terms of percentage of sales, we'd be well ahead of them already.
Well, tell us about your supply chain, because that too is fairly unique to Australia.
Yeah, we're I think certainly one of the only, if not the only, fully integrated chains out there. We actually make our product from scratch daily in our central kitchen. We make the pastry from scratch, we cook the fillings from scratch, we make the croissants from scratch. The only thing we don't make in our central kitchen is bread. We're not experts in bread, so we actually buy the bread in ready to bake. And then everything goes to the stores, either frozen ready to bake or chilled ready to bake. And a few products go already finished, but for the most part, we do all that value add in our central kitchen. It's made from scratch. We have our brother-in-law, Francois Quantrell, who's a very highly regarded pastry chef, running our kitchen. We've got a number of qualified pastry chefs in the kitchen, along with the rest of the team. And so we focus very much on creating a very unique, high quality, value proposition for our franchisees. And the good thing is we do all the hard parts in the kitchen. It leaves the franchisee to really focus on merchandising and looking after the customers.
Well, what do you think makes Pie Face an exciting proposition for franchisees?
Well, lots of the things we just discussed, but I think, in summary, the product is, we think, second to none. It's made from scratch. It's high quality. We use, the best ingredients, the best produce. Secondly, we do all the value add in the kitchen, and then what we offer up to the franchisee is a simple business model. So really, all they need to worry about is taking care of customers and a bit of baking and a bit of merchandising. And as a result, the cost of building one of our stores is pretty modest in comparison to other chains, and the size of the store can be quite compact. So, we can be in very, very high-profile locations, paying reasonable rent because we're able to take very small footprints. We're also able to work into, unique sort of footprints where a lot of other brands might not be able to open. We're able to open. So we think that, there's big potential to open in many places and to get into business for a very affordable price.
Well, tell us about that. I mean, what sort of financial requirement is there for a franchisee who might come to see you about taking on a Pie Face franchise?
For a new store, it does vary, obviously, depending upon size and cost to sort of fit out. And we've just been looking at stores today. But I think as a rule of thumb, it's somewhere between $250,000 and, say, $300,000 to get into business, including the fit out, the training, the stock for the store and everything. So if you assume $300,000 for a new store, you would be pretty close.
And is it easy to say what sort of return a franchisee could expect?
Well, I'm not sure if my advisors would advise that, but we think every store is going to vary. Every situation is different, but we do have stores that return above 20%, and that's not there's a mix of them, but on average we would expect double-digit returns.
So what sorts of people are you looking for? Is there an ideal franchisee for a Pie Face franchise?
Yeah, you have to pass. Betty and I both have to like you, number one, and think that you've got the energy and the passion and the commitment. Having some experience in small business or in food and or both is certainly, it doesn't hurt you. But really what we're looking for is the fire in the belly, the people that are walkers and not talkers. In life, you meet a lot of talkers and you meet a lot of walkers, and sometimes you meet people with both. So we're really looking for walkers as opposed to talkers. People who are maybe a little bit humble, but more than anything passionate, with the right work ethic, determination. People who don't quit, people who have a record for following through with what they've started.
How much training or ongoing support will you offer them?
We have some theory in food hygiene and other things, bookkeeping, et cetera, and then we have on-the-job training. So we have a bit of both, but because the model is simple, 2 weeks is probably plenty for most people to get fully up to speed.
Well, you already have some franchisees working happily up in Sydney, and you're hoping to expand now elsewhere, Melbourne, for example. How would you describe your relationship with the franchisees that are already on board? Very good, but we've only got a few, but we're batting 100% right now. We've got a great relationship with our first 3 franchisees, and from the ones that we have in the pipeline, I think that they're all, we're very excited about all of them. So it's early days, but we're being very careful about who we select. And really, it is about the personality and the passion to us, not about the checkbook. So when you go and see those franchisees, what do they say to you? I don't know. They're happy. I think they respect what we've done. I think they respect the fact that we put our own money and our own sweat into this venture. That we, did all the hard work ourselves. We used to deliver the food ourselves. We used to mop the floors ourselves. We've done every job in the company, and so I think that comes out and they recognize that. So how far do you hope to grow in the next 12 to 18 months? Probably 20 to 30 deals in the next 20. So that would take us to a circa 50 store, take us to maybe up to 50 stores in the next 12 to 18 months from, say, 20 now. Well, you're scattered in Sydney, and we're talking today in Melbourne, so you're opening here as well. Mm-hmm. Anywhere else? Not actively, but yes, we are talking to people from all parts of the country. We believe there's massive opportunity in the CBD markets, not only Sydney, Melbourne, but the other big markets as well.
And really, we're driven by the quality of the person. We're not sort of forced to do deals in markets because we want to be in that market. We're really looking at the quality of the people that come through and express interest. And if we find the right person, and they're in Australia in some market, then we'll talk to them.
Wayne Homschek, co-founder Pie Face.